Westcast
Network.
Now things will start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares are the best part of my day. The goods from the wood.
Hot damn!
Welcome to The Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
Pat Riley, master of the butt.
This is the good night, man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
And today is all about the proletariat, the working man.
I consider myself about the patrician. This is like a conflict of the orders right here, and I hope these plebeians have some tribunes, some Gracchi brothers, if you will, to stand up for their own end in this government.
I'm part of the lumpen proletariat, personally.
and our tribunes for this session, the hosts of, I'm going to say, my favorite live monthly show here in Los Angeles, Nerdfight.
I'm Adam Murray.
Quit thanking Rivers. It's my show. It's Laura Crawford.
Live at Disgraceland Studios.
Oh, boy.
We had the thought last night to cover shitty jobs, because I think that's something everybody's had. My big racket throughout my life has been delivery, pizza.
Yep.
Pizza and otherwise. What about you, Laura? Let's start over here. What's the overarching theme of your shitty work life?
For a long time, I was the assistant. I had all the bitch roles, and I had some jobs like where I worked at a synagogue.
Oh, okay.
Did you turn on the lights for them on Saturdays and shit?
Elvis was one of those.
I hit the crosswalk sign so that I worked at a synagogue, and I would have to make up the announcements and stuff like that. That was it was a weird job because I'm not Jewish, and I worked at a synagogue. And periodically things would come up where they would just look at me and be like, oh, you're not a Jew. And just kind of like dismiss me out of hand, even though I was there all the time. And if you called up the place, it'd be like, Shalom, welcome to the Boston Synagogue. It'd be like my voice on it.
You were the go-to goy.
I was the goy. I was the goy on the go. But the one really shitty thing that happened with that job, which was that I had to write checks for everyone every week, all the Hebrew school teachers, everyone who worked maintenance there, everybody worked there. And on Hanukkah, they gave me a list of people to write checks for Hanukkah bonuses, holiday bonuses. And my name was not on them. And I kept expecting to get one from someone because everyone else got a big holiday bonus, and I didn't get one. And this happened 2 years in a row. And the second year, I said something to the effect of like, so no holiday bonus, huh? And they go, well, Laura, you're not Jewish. And then they just like, that negated me working at a place. So that sucked. I work in coffee now, and I've worked in coffee before.
The brown water trade is...
It's pretty bad. I've had parents have their little kids and then look at me and say, this is why you should go to college.
No. The thing is, no, you went to college. That's why you're working as a barista.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I just majored. I just studied the wrong thing.
Yeah, that's the whole point. I worked in coffee after I graduated from college, and I graduated with highest honors. And the only thing I could get was in the fucking brown water trade.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, they said stuff to me like, Laura, why don't you write the specials on the board? You studied writing in college.
You're a calligraphy expert.
Yeah. And you know what? I was bad at it. The girl who studied biology was really good at writing the specials on the
So
board.
you can't get a job no matter what your major is. I mean, that's America these days.
Yeah. Unless it's sucking dick, right?
That's right.
High five.
Yeah, but you don't got to go to school for that. You can just be born
Yeah, really.
with talent like that.
No, you just need to join a sorority or something.
That's OJT.
Go to community college.
On-the-job training.
Leave the community colleges alone, man.
I've done my time.
I've worked at them.
I've worked at them, too.
It's a noble thing. It really is.
It's better.
It really is.
The students at community college are a lot better.
I agree.
Yeah.
Especially the grown-up students, because they take it serious.
They're paying for it themselves. So.
Well, so, when you teach like regular 4-year college, it's like teaching high school. It's the 13th grade. You're doing like introductory courses, and it's like it's kids fresh out of high school.
The moms in classes, though, really like made me feel like shit, though. Like, it's a class in community college. There's a class full of people, and then there's like a 45-year-old mom who's just going back to get a degree, and she knows everything for every question in the class, and then you just feel like shit.
Well, she is a mom.
Yeah.
Well, that
their job
but it's
is
like,
to make you feel
she
like
read
shit.
the book.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh.
I got a guilt.
Yeah, when my
That's
kid
fine.
was up till 3 a.m. because he has the flu, and I still read it.
Yeah, I had one of those in a history class. It was this, everybody else was about my age, about 1920, and then there was a lady who was in her 50s probably, which is fine. But one day
We'll let her live.
we'll let her live. We'll let it pass. That checks. That dog will hunt. But anyway, it's an expression.
That's the Alabama is.
Phrases.
Anyway,
like a Massachusetts expression.
so we're sitting there one day, and just all of a sudden, out of her purse, we just hear like, "Ow!" and we're all like,
Mr. Cheetah?
Was Ted Nugent in her trunk?
Chester Cheetah.
How was Chester Cheetah's head able to stay on? Because his body was so skinny. He'd just been falling over forward. His head should have been weighing him down.
Constant adrenaline rush.
well, what?
That's some more of them Cheetos, you understand?
It was the sound of a screaming cat, and we all just assumed, as you would, that this woman has brought a cat. She just has a cat in her purse. It turns out her ringtone is a screaming, wailing cat, and she just forgot to put her phone on
Like a
silent.
Neil Young ringtone or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Who does
Wasn't a Furby in her purse, was it?
No. It was. She was like, oh, I forgot my phone, and she like turned it, and her phone is just
How lonely of a human has a screaming
cat. Like I could understand like a
just a
nice
meow.
little meow would be fine, but
Use it as it's like an alarm clock. And
Yeah.
it will wake you up.
that's true.
It's
Yeah.
definitely one of those ringtones that you buy off TV. It's like, text this number, get these hilarious ringtones.
Screaming cat,
Screaming cat.
dying hamster.
Hey, you're,
Butter and jelly time.
you're going to be the coolest person at your party. I grew up in New Jersey for 6 years. I was beach maintenance, which requires cleaning up garbage and about that, and fixing boardwalks over in.
Isn't that just community service, like court order community
Actually, that's exactly what it is.
So you just did 6 years of court order
Yeah.
community service?
A bunch of guys with neck
Bad
tattoos and 16-year-old Adam.
Yep.
Hi.
How many syringes?
Oh, a lot.
A lot.
A lot. A lot of cinders and one summer a dead girl. That
You heartbreaker.
just dragging this podcast down into sad town.
Oh no,
Beginning
please.
of Fuji Vice.
We usually got there at like 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then it was like me, beach security, which is a thing. There's also beach security.
Baywatch.
Yeah, because in New Jersey you have to pay to get on the beaches. That's the one thing, is you have to pay to have like admittance to the beach. It's like
You want
$5
some
for a
water,
day.
you want some
Yeah.
sand, you pay up.
It's really like
Seagulls and the jellyfish
Yeah.
and shit like that.
for the awful seagulls. And then it's like security, and then like one of the lifeguard captains, and this guy comes running up, and he's like hysterical crying, and he's like, "Oh, my girlfriend isn't waking up," and that never ends well. And then we went and saw, and it's sad. It was really sad.
Jesus.
And that was Adam's first prom date.
That was my that poor girl. There's an even sadder part to that story. I'm not
If
going
there
to
was
say.
a CSI New Jersey, who would be the lead guy, the Michael Caruso of CSI New Jersey?
I think Danny Aiello would be good. Or
Joe Pantaleon.
I was thinking
Joe
Tony
Pantaleon.
Danza personally.
I'd better than my Dice Clay idea.
I
actually, this year for Halloween, I'm thinking sexy Andrew Dice Clay. What do you guys think?
Well, that'd just be Andrew Dice Clay.
No pants. I know.
I'm trying to be provocative here.
Oh, so promiscuous.
I'm looking like I'm not very discerning with my sexual partners.
little Miss Muffet's out on me.
And I'm always like, why do I gotta act like this to get the attentions of the boys? Oh, God. I dressed as Dice once for Halloween. And everybody thought I dressed like the Terminator. And they were just like, they're like, why does the Terminator have this bad New York
Why does he
accent?
sound so weird?
Why is he speaking in rhyme?
Terrible Austrian accent.
when I was in high school, I did have 2 bosses who seemed like tough guys, both break down and cry to me in the office and confess that they were miserable being like tough bro dudes.
Wow.
And,
That's tough to do, man.
it's tough to do.
To keep that facade
It's
up.
tough to do.
Where was this again?
I worked at a hospital in a cafe in a hospital in a cafe inside of a
Tiny
hospital.
hospital.
Tiny hospital inside of a Starbucks. Mostly a burn unit. And no.
So it's like that tiny little city that like Superman had. Remember that in like a jar?
Yeah.
It was exactly like that. I worked at a Starbucks, but it was also a cafe. We made lunch stuff. We served Starbucks and stuff. And it was inside a hospital. My manager was this guy, Craig, who was like a real douchebag who had like a tribal armband tattoo.
Oh, beautiful.
And then also a barbed wire.
It's Maori.
Yeah.
I'm a Maori.
He had a
I wake up
tribal-
in the morning and I do the haka to get into peace mode and I just cry a little bit. It's a tattoo means something.
that, and then barbed wire on the other arm. He had both.
Perfect. Perfect.
Was your boss Bill Goldberg?
I was going to say it's Goldberg and The Rock at once.
I wish. But he was like a real woman.
Taking off a couple months, like I do Universal Soldier too.
Jesus. Real womanizing douchebag. Like all these nurses would come in and be like, "It's Craig here. He's an asshole," and I'd just be like, "No, he's not here right now."
Told you that. This came in to tell you know that.
Yeah, like, just so you know, he's a
Craig.
dick. And so then, like, he would always act like he'd call me like he'd be like, "Oh, Daddy's girl," because my dad had been his boss like 5 years before, but like he hadn't worked for him since. And then he'd be like, "Oh, Daddy's girl's all spoiled over here. Yeah, well, let's make Daddy's girl do it." I'd be like, I don't know. I keep calling me Daddy's girl. And like, always give me the shittiest jobs. And then one day in the office, we were doing out the register, and he's just like, "Laura, I put up a big front. I act real tough. But I'm just lonely. I'm just a lonely guy, and I can't find a woman who I really want to commit to." And he just started crying, like weeping to me in the office. He's like, "You're smart, and you're a sensitive young girl. You understand these things." And then after a while, he's just like, "Oh, you're beautiful," and he's just like, "I think I might be in love with you." And then eventually he was like, "Please don't tell your dad I ever said this." And he's like, I'm so sorry. It just was like, I never want to talk about this again. Then another boss do the same thing at that job, except he was blackout drunk.
It is stressful working at a hospital.
Yeah, it's stressful making French fries for people at a hospital.
Well, people are coming in there terminally ill and things, and that could be their last fries, so you gotta make them hot.
You got to make them good.
And it's tough to be a steakhead. Like, I had a friend of mine, Gina, from back home.
Steakhead?
Yeah, a
Named
steakhead.
Gina?
No.
Okay.
There was a steakhead,
Uh-huh.
and my friend Gina.
Hold on.
Steak fries?
No, a steakhead. You don't know what a
I'm with
steakhead?
you. I'm with you, Pat.
You mean
like a meathead.
A meathead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Meathead.
No, it's a steakhead.
No. You can't just do that. I'm a steakhead.
He's a ball, bro.
I'm a
ball.
You can't, but the thing is that if you're a broed out, muscly roid head, you can't be all types of meat. You have to be a certain type. You can't be like a
Cream by
If
Dick
you're a
Crop.
roid head, how can you be a steak head too? Because your head can only be so many things at once.
Well, I mean, there are so many steroids in beef today. You know, you
USDA.
watch Food Inc. You'll find that out.
Okay.
But my friend Gina, she worked at a pizza place called Bizarro's, and that was like a little chain in
Bizarro.
Bizarro pizza.
Bizarro's pizza.
yeah, I'd say it's a traditional Italian name, obviously.
Bizarro's a pizza.
I am Bizarro.
Here we wear shoes on our hands. Enjoy your food.
So
This is a box.
Mario game?
Pineapple and jalapenos.
yeah, so
I just want to say this. Super Mario was better when he was Italian American and before they started giving him that stupid opera singer voice. That's just my 2 cents on it.
So it was like this kind of franchised out restaurant. It's a local chain, and it was run by this guy named Gerard who used to call himself G.
Yeah.
And he was
he did.
muscled out. Affliction. He had an Affliction T-shirt that was an extension of his skin, I think. Affliction T-shirt, bad tattoos, the tribal tattoos, and he had braces. Except they were gold. And he was just, oh man, he was. So what happened was that G was like this guy that was just a total meathead.
Thank you.
But what happened was that he had a pit bull, which you do if you're that type of guy, and he had to give his pit bull away. So he gave the pit bull to this guy. He comes to find out a few months later that his girlfriend is cheating on him with the guy that took his pit bull.
He took his bitch and his bitch.
Oh. Later on, G always had a dream to open a bar. So he opens a bar in downtown Melbourne, Florida called G's Ultra Lounge. Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, put out the wet floor sign because this pussy's dripping.
So much
Ultra Lounge.
Ultra Lounge. So much black light, so much zebra print, so much purple. And they had the thing where it's like purple and green lights underneath the bottle, so it's like this green light going through a Courvoisier bottle, you know?
He got the hypnotic.
Bottles, that actually sounded pretty good.
That's an extra sexy Courvoisier.
So, anyway.
If I had the money, I'd have a house like that.
So G opens this bar. Come to find out, the guy that took his pit bull, took his girlfriend, decides to open a bar next door to G's Ultra Lounge called Debauchery. And Debauchery has a double-sided mirror looking into the women's bathroom. And it's just,
This place is still open.
But it's to the sink. So it's just like you get to see a bunch of girls washing their hands. And but
That's
the white,
worse.
What is this?
Yeah, and so like it's just all the white trash guys that go to Debauchery are just like, oh man, you got to go in the bathroom and check this out. Don't tell the girls about it, you know. but the worst thing was
Put on their makeup.
so the worst thing was Debauchery opens, and on the back of Debauchery, the guy paints a large, almost full wall mural of G's pit bull.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
And G's Ultra Lounge closed 4 months later. But Gina told me the story about G breaking down at the pizza counter, given all these things, and he's just like, I'm trying to do good in the world here. And this guy's just ruining me.
Fair though, I mean that is pretty brutal.
That's like a man.
That's
That's
like the Ballad of G.
G's in prison now. He murdered that person.
Oh, my God.
It's really good being friends. I went to high school with people like that, and being friends with them on Facebook is the best thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because they put statuses like, if you're in town tonight, DJing at the Applebee's at 10 till midnight.
Yeah, well, to be fair though, is that any different than the comedy things that people put up?
Yeah, you know, it's so true.
I've been tagged in a lot of flyers that just look so bottom
They
up
always
and
use the same
disgusting.
picture of me, and it's from years ago.
I hate
Yeah.
them.
Well, I have the one that my friend sent me that I printed out and was just going around showing to people at open mics. I'll bust it back out again in January. But somebody sent me, there's a really a place back home in Alabama that when I went back, come to find out I was not even there anymore. But it was there last January. It was called Halftime or something, or the End Zone or some bullshit. And somebody sent me the thing, and it was it said Martin Luther King Weekend Blast Off. And it had a picture of Martin Luther King's head attached to rapper 2 Chainz's body.
Oh my god!
And behind it, it had a sexy lady in a bikini and a really pimped out car and a bunch of bottles of vodka. And it just said Martin Luther King Weekend Blast Off, and it had the address for this place, and it was like, come on down. My joke for that flyer, though, is that they completely missed a fantastic opportunity for advertising at the bottom, because it's just very plain. It's just like, here's where it's happening, here's what time it's happening. If you're going to go through all the trouble of having an MLK Weekend Blast Off, the bottom of the page should say, I have a dream that one day, specifically January 28th, 2013, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will come together at the dance floor of brotherhood and get down with the get down. And as always, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, ladies get in free at last. That's what it should say. It doesn't.
They can't all have your skills, Rivers.
That's right.
Like they said, it's very plain.
PR
After explaining
master.
it was what was on the flyer.
Yeah,
and the description's so
No,
plain.
it's so plain. It doesn't
I
say
do
anything.
plug for you, Rivers. If anybody out there wants to have a show and they want the flyer to be a lot better than their show, you come to Rivers.
Well, I always feel like I want to be a punch-up guy for just not like a show, not a TV show, but for like church signs and flyers, things of that nature. Because I'll see church signs where they miss just like there's one they miss a golden opportunity. I saw a church sign that said Elvis was the king of rock and roll. Jesus is the king who saves your soul. And I was like, you went with a rhyme, but you fucked up and you missed the most obvious thing. Elvis is the king of rock and roll. Jesus is the king who rolled the rock. Right? He rolled the stone away.
There
you dumb fucks. I'm not even a Christian and I'm good at this shit.
And then
Did he
Stone
actually
Cold
roll
beat
the
the
stone,
rock.
or did it roll on its own accord, or was it that angel outside or something?
yeah.
The
I
Bible,
was-
I think, is ambiguous on that.
Yeah, I always assumed it was him. He's just like,
Just
fuck you,
super
I'm
strong.
He had super strength. It was like
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan. He had his
Jesus
comeback
is
and
advertisement.
he rolled the rock, gave the
Wow.
leg drop to the devil.
No selling the crucifixion.
The beer from the finest breweries of Latrobe is really missing out on an opportunity. Rolling Rock should clearly use Jesus as
that's
a
right.
mascot.
Yeah, fuck a horse, dude.
Try,
Jesus is
Wait,
better
you just
than
said
a
fuck
horse.
a horse dude on it. We gotta isolate that as a sound bite.
Fuck a horse, dude.
try Rolling Rock. It's the best. Best line in The Deer Hunter.
There will be peace in the valley for me someday. There will be peace in the valley for me. Oh Lord, I pray.
The worst job I had for probably about 3 months. I went to school in Philadelphia, and a casino. Has anybody ever been to Philly? Anyone?
Yeah, I have.
Do you know Delaware Avenue? Like right by the water.
Yeah.
Bad.
It's a horrible street, and they built a casino there. And I applied for a job to be a valet. And the guy who was the manager pitched it like super early. He's like, you'll walk out of here with like $300 a night in tips. You'll do great. It'll be fine. And I ended up getting put on weekend shifts at 7 a.m. in Philadelphia at a casino.
no.
So I'd have to wake up at 5 a.m, get on a subway train, and then either walk 13 blocks or catch a bus that never came down that street to get to the place at 7 a.m. And then, if you ever want to see a welfare check go to die, go to a casino in Philly at 6 a.m, and you'll see like the worst dregs of humanity coming in and out of a casino who don't tip, and it was free valet. So people with like ashtray cars would just pull up and be like, "Here you go, park this," and awful. Just
Don't change my presets.
I got the worst example. The thing that made me quit was I got a voucher from a slot, like the penny slot voucher from a woman who gave it to me. She goes, "Here you go, baby." Hands me a voucher for 5 cents.
Oh, wow.
So not even actual money. I'd have to go into the casino, go to someone behind a cage, slide them a piece of paper that said 5 cents in this, and ask for a nickel back.
Oh, God.
Or 5 pennies. You know, make it 5 pennies. I want to roll on the bed in it.
Never made it as a wise man. Never made it as a cool man stealing.
This girl comes in about noon, and she goes, "I want to get a delivery, but I want it later for like 8 o'clock. I'm going to pay for it now. I just want you to bring it to my house." We're like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." She goes, "Yeah, but also I want a pepperoni pizza, and I want you to put this envelope underneath the pizza, and I would like you to arrange the pepperonis in the shape of a question mark."
What?
So just an envelope soaked in grease.
Well, that was the thing. we were like, okay, so and knowing what I know now, if I had to go back and do it over again, I would have steamed the letter open and fucking read it, because I have, based on what happened later, I have to know what it said. But at the time, we were being respectful, so we just wrapped it up in Saran wrap. Made the question mark on the pizza, and then it was supposed to be there at 8 o'clock. I pull up to their door, 7:59, perfect. Walk up to the house, knock on the door, and this guy answers, and he's not wearing a shirt, and it looks like somebody has crumpled up an entire packet of loose leaf notebook paper and just strewn paper everywhere. And he opens the door. The girl who ordered the pizza earlier in the day is sitting on the couch weeping. Just... And he looks at me, he's like, "Thanks," and slams the door in my face.
So was it a marriage proposal or not?
We don't know. There's no way to... I don't know. I like to assume it was, but...
Charlene, quit your crying. We got company.
The pizza guy's here. You know what?
Papa John is here.
You don't look like trash for the pizza guy.
I was trying to ask you to the Sadie Hawkins dance.
I worked at a softball complex, which in the summer, the concession stand where I worked was actually between 10 to 15 degrees hotter than it was outside. And Alabama in summer, as you know, is like 95, 96 degrees with 100% humidity. So, you're just sweating balls. And here's the thing about softball. Softball is played by two groups of people. One is girls, ages 5 to 18, and two drunk old men.
My dad played fast pitch softball competitively.
This is the saddest. This is the saddest thing I've ever heard. My dad, the last softball game my dad played was like the Wednesday before I was born. And then he just never played again. That was it.
So he never met Sid Vicious.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, I worked at the softball complex, and when it was, the girls' teams playing, everything ran fine for the most part. When it was the old dudes playing, people were drunk, and people were mad, and people would come and scream because they have weird superstitions. Like they'll come in and they'll just be like, "I need a cup of pickle juice. My pitcher's arm's fucking up," and you're like, "What?" And they just think that you could chug pickle juice and then it'll fix your arm, or black coffee. Just black coffee will also.
To be fair, if you do work out, pickle juice is something good to drink when you're working out because it's salty, briny, and it's like the original Gatorade essentially.
Right, and when I shake my bones and feathers over the fire, I have good fortune. It happens. Yeah. But anyway, so they would
do a whole show about augury. Can we do it? But the omens weren't good ahead of time. Look at this screen.
A divination podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll look at
the right day. We have to do it on the right day.
We already had a seance for George Jones.
That's right.
And he did show up.
I asked, "What are you going to do with your parents' bones?" Because I was talking to Scott Bowser, and we were talking about his dead father and
Booty Cheeks himself.
we were talking about his dead dad and how at his dad's funeral, one of his uncle, one of his mom's brothers, I believe, came up and said, "Looks like they needed another baseball coach in heaven or something," because Scott's dad had coached his team. He's like, "Looks like heaven really needed a coach," and it's like, and he was naming off all the great coaches of baseball that were dead and available in heaven.
No.
Casey Stengel.
But God was just like, "Hey, that like 42-year-old father who's like." Paycheck basically keeps his family afloat. We should get him. He's great.
They
really
need
need
a
him.
softball league up there or something, and they got to recruit new people.
Yeah, we were talking about how we want to use his parents' bones and put them in erotic statues in his front yard.
It would have been funny if he listed off coaches and he accidentally said like Tommy Lasorda, just the lost ones Casey Stengel and John McGraw and Tommy Lasorda, and that would have just totally.
It reminds me of my grandmother's funeral. They did the thing where they go, "Does anybody have anything to say?" And if just no. The answer is everybody sit down, and we all want to leave, and it's hot. But my cousin Jimmy goes, "Yeah, I got something to say." I used to have a cocaine problem.
Oh, no.
And we're all like, this isn't going anywhere good. And he had this whole thing about how he crashed his car in the Pine Barrens and, Jesus saved him. No, he lived in New Jersey. He had to get out of the
Sopranos.
Exactly. Yeah, he, crashed his car. Yeah, and, Jesus something. And, it was basically a thing, we all need to get right with Jesus. But don't do that, and if you're going to do that, don't start off with, "I used to have a cocaine problem."
That's what he opened with.
That's one of the few times I got paid for doing comedy was we were doing a show in Quincy at this bar, and it was a fundraiser. This guy had started this foundation for after his mother had died of cancer.
Yeah.
I didn't know who this guy was, but he paid us, and then the comics were outside. We went outside to get our money, and we're hanging out in the parking lot, and he's telling us how he used to do some activities for some biker gangs and was a drug dealer and, beat guys up and all this different shit, how he'd gone to prison. And while he's doing this and telling us all these stories, he's passing around this joint that he rolled and stuff. And then he's like, "Yeah, I used to be a real shithead. I used to be a real piece of shit." And then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you just paid us with money that you raised for your mom's cancer benefit that you basically stole from that to pay us, and now you're giving us all drugs in a parking lot outside your mother's cancer benefit, talking about how you said beat guys up for biker gangs. You used to be a real piece of shit. You used to be past tense. It's
Was
important.
that the time I bumped into you when I was getting on a bus?
Yep. Yeah.
Look at that.
I was so out of context.
It was. I know. It was bizarre.
I know, it was weird.
It was about a year ago. It was about a year ago in time now.
Yeah. Quincy.
Same funeral actually. First of all, the frankincense, like they put way too much in there and it caught on fire.
Oh shit!
That happened at my grandma's funeral.
Did they have myrrh as well? Or something?
No, it was a full-on Catholic funeral, so they had a whole thing, and a few things happened at this one. This is actually, a few good ones. First of all,
The top hits of Nana's funeral.
Top hits of Nana's funeral. Here we go. Number one, altar boy who couldn't read. That was a good one.
Only in Alabama,
education
folks.
on my
Women
ass.
altar boys.
Yeah, there's one Catholic church in the whole county, as far as I know, and we're at it. And the preacher or the pastor, the father, what have you, the priest goes, the priest. I don't know, man. The priest comes up and goes, well, first of all, he started off the funeral by going, I did not know Ruth. Come on, dude. Don't just pretend. Let's yes and this and fucking we'll all get through.
She was a great lady.
She didn't.
Did he not know her, or was he just like unacquainted with the Old Testament and certain
Well, no, that was what happened. Was
Funerals are the great improv show of religion, aren't they?
right? Yeah, he didn't know her. He didn't know my grandmother because my grandmother was basically infirm for the past year before she died. So she would just watch EWTN instead of going to church. But she was still paid tithes. She was still a member of the congregation. Anyway, in the time between she had last gone to church and the time that she died, they had gotten a new priest who had never met her. But instead of talking to anybody in the family, getting an idea, pretending, he just goes, I didn't know Ruth at all. And then he goes, we will now have a reading from the book of Joshua. And just when he said that, I assumed he's going to go read. And then he calls up this fucking toe-headed moron, fucking 13-year-old
Fucking
kid.
blonde piece of shit.
He comes up, just flaxen haired and not two brain cells to rub together, and he just
Wait,
goes,
is this kid blonde?
yeah, real blonde. Just
That's
a
the way they
toe-
like him. You understand?
Exactly. And he comes up and he just goes, Daniel did walk, and just and we just had to sit through that, and like my mother and I are on the brink of like exploding. Like we were about to laugh so fucking hard. Like I did like a little like, and then that got my mom going, and then it was just like the rest of the time just hurt to hold it in. And then that was when the frankincense caught on fire, and they had to like open up all the doors.
And Stonehenge was little.
Exactly. We get to the gravesite, the burial's over, we're leaving, and my mom goes up to the funeral director and goes, that was beautiful. Thank you. We really appreciate it. He goes, well, no problem, Miss Langley. I just wanted to let you know, we're going to have to get out of here. There's another party coming in about 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
And a whole nother like limo hearse, like a whole nother funeral procession came in, and the Langley family had to jump a curb and drive up a grassy embankment to get out of the graveyard. And on the way out, my mom goes, if you ever let this happen, I will find a way to haunt you. So
Your mama sound like a wonderful woman.
she's got the whole funeral planned out. She's got it typed out in the file cabinet. This is how it's going down. Just hand this to a funeral director and don't worry about it, just to avoid something like that.
Grandma's hands clapped in church on Sunday morning. Grandma's hand played a tambourine so well.
I remember one job, and this is a job that I didn't have, but this is one that always stuck into my mind because I was like kind of in this weird Brian Wilson not leaving bed phase. So I was in bed watching a little Law and Order, as you're prone to do when you're unemployed. You can tell how unemployed people have been based on how knowledgeable they are of Law and Order.
Except for me. I'm the one exception.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
I watch PBS Kids instead.
You can just look at a person's Netflix history and figure out what their employment status is.
Yeah.
How are Dragon Tales, Mr. Goodnight?
It's not too bad. It was kind of PC. The one thing I liked, though, is that something always appealed to me about that pink dragon And I figured out why. Is because her mouth is permanently in a frown. And there's something I just liked about that on a visceral level, that she wasn't superficially happy.
I
she's
love a
pink.
sad dragon.
I like
the
a sad
two-headed
pink.
dragon that was hermaphroditic, that one was annoying, especially the girl head.
Don't get him started on Caillou.
Oh, don't get me started on Caillou.
Caillou,
I get Caillou and I watch Caillou. You know that. Ain't nothing like Caillou High, because I tell you. And that theme song is just haunting.
It's awful. Caillou, all right, he has alopecia.
Does he? I thought he had
He's-
chemo or something and he got no
he's-
hair.
And his sister clearly is on the spectrum.
Oh, Rosie is a moron.
She's
Rosie
oh my
is a
God.
complete moron, and they never address that fact. Caillou is raised like a sissy, and you know when he grows up, he's going to rebel against that and become a UFC fighter or
Yeah.
something like that, because he's already
He's
going to
get the shit kicked out of him in high school.
Kicking shit.
He's going to turn to
He's
G.
going to be G. He's going to be G. Except he ain't going to stand for what that boy done to him. He'd go in that other place with a gun and he'd shoot the place up, and then he'd become the boss in that prison block.
The character of Caillou has a sister named Rosie who's so dumb, and she responds to everything with her first name and then just another word that she wants to do.
like.
Yeah, Rosie Rosie Cookie,
is
Rosie Cat. It's the
stupid.
stupidest child on
Why are you
TV.
watching this shit
I
out?
have nephews.
Yeah, okay.
Is this French Canadian?
Yeah, it is.
Well, that
Yeah.
makes
That's why
perfect
his name
sense.
is
Yeah.
Caillou, which
Caillou.
I always thought was bad because kids are just learning phonics then, and you throw a French pronunciation on that down. But yeah, if you ever heard the Caillou lyrics in French, it's actually much better. I prefer the French version of the theme song myself.
So, Pat, your shitty job involved Caillou.
Okay, this is
job.
okay. I'll get to my coffee job because that was by far my worst job. But there was one job I remember sitting there watching Law and Order, going through Craigslist, which is always the best place to look for jobs. Yep. And I found one that basically said, "I am a businessman, and I will pay looking for a male between these ages."
Oh, good.
Oh boy.
I will pay $300 a week for you to come to my house 3 days a week and poop on a plate in front of me. The last line was that, and then it just said, "You can wear a mask if you want to."
Are they hiring still?
And it was one of those things
You want to?
where I just sat there and I was like, my rent is like $300 a month. And really, it takes about 30 seconds to take a dump. So I probably would have the best paying job in America. And it crossed my mind. That's how unemployed I was out of college. I was like, shit, I can literally go to the bathroom in front of this creepy Philip Seymour Hoffman looking guy, because he probably does look like Philip Seymour Hoffman if he's into that sort of thing.
I want you to shit on.
Getting paid to take a shit would pretty much be my dream job.
And wear
Wait,
a
what
mask.
kind of plate?
Just
Pretend like I was Mr. Wrestling too or something.
I could roll up in a Rey Mysterio mask or looking like Super Caillou or something. Like who?
Take a shit.
I think the best one would be like a Juventud Guerrera sort of thing.
Wait, what kind of plate?
I prefer a glass table in a day. I'll tell you that.
But the thing was it was a Gone with the Wind commemorative plate.
Is it a Princess Diana? Is it a Princess Diana memorial plate? Is it a...
I don't want to drag us too much into the gutter, but if you're going to do a job like that, it's kind of like you have to be careful what you eat, because you want to make a proper stew. You understand? For presentation.
You don't want to get fired from the shitting on the plate
I know.
job.
Too much
But the
splatter,
thing
too much
was,
splatter.
but here's the thing that's horrible about college. I just sat there and was like, I don't know. But then I was just like, but I went to college. I deserve so much more, you know? And it's like, I haven't put on pants all day, you know? And it's 4:00. I'm watching my fourth Law and Order.
Sounds like the dream life, really.
It was horrible. It was the worst.
I'll say this too: you don't want to eat like
Oh,
Fruity
well-
Pebbles or something, because you'll get that green shit. You understand? I mean,
Not
if it's
too many
St. Patrick's Day, maybe, but the rest of the year, it's just not going to work.
But it was like one of those things where I was sitting there, I was like, well, I don't know if I'll get a job where it's I have to. And it was like one of those things that I was in that point of desperation where I was just like, maybe this could work.
I was selling my blood for a while.
Selling blood?
Before
Selling
I moved out of
plasma?
Boston, I sold my blood as often as possible. As often as possible, I sold plasma.
Awesome.
And so I
Were
could
you
get, like,
were you
semi-
in the movie Midnight Cowboy? Because that's the only.
No, it was really great because I thought that the people there selling their blood were going to be creepy. The people who were taking the blood were super creepy because they were like too dumb to become phlebotomists, but they were like and too unartistic to become tattoo artists. They're just like, I want to put needles in you. And she's like,
So
sucked.
the worst job I ever did is I worked at a coffee shop, an independent coffee shop in Atlanta, Georgia, that was right down the street from my college. So I would have professors, people I went to school with, walk in, and especially the professors, they would just kind of, their eyes would get about this big because they just realized how much of a vain errand their job kind of is in a way, where it's just like it hits them in the face like, ooh, maybe this isn't so important.
Write you a recommendation.
Yeah, I know. Didn't I write you a recommendation to go to grad school,
I was like, yeah, you're one of my references.
So, anyway, the boss I had was a complete idiot. So, essentially, these two people decided to start coffee shops because they thought there would be a way to make money. I don't know why.
It's never
a way to make money, but
restaurant.
it was these middle-aged people that like watched Friends, and they're like, "Oh, look how happy they are at the coffee shop. This could be our business model." So they started these.
Ross.
So they opened a coffee shop.
Wait, none of the friends own the coffee shop. Nobody there.
Yeah.
Hung out there.
If you really want to make money with a coffee shop,
Gunther
put an
killed
open
himself
mic
later.
in there because that will bring in the dough.
Actually, get guys playing Settlers Catan in the back. They really.
Or Stinky Cat.
Yeah. So anyway, so I worked there, and they had this guy run it, like one of their son run it, but there was a power play with the daughter, and she chased the son out. She ran it, but she decided that she didn't want to run it anymore, so she got the husband to run it, so their son-in-law, who was an out-of-work electrician. This guy has never worked in the service industry once in his life. And this guy was a bad electrician because one time he was setting up ceiling fans, and I was like, "Hey, man, you need help putting up those ceiling fans." He's like, "Pat," he hated my guts. He's like, "Pat, I'm an electrician. I know what I'm doing. He sets the thing up, switches it on, and just sparks shoot down like Goldberg was coming out. Just like spark. This guy was convinced that I was stealing because I always cash out the register. And every time other people cashed out the register at the end of the night, they would have like minus $150, And because of the fact that I'd always ended up pretty much at zero when I cash it out, and some other reasons, I don't know what, I thought I was stealing, and it created a large tension between him and I. And one time, I had a friend of mine come in, and she was having a bad day, and I was like, "Hey, you want something to drink? I'll buy your coffee." Because her boyfriend had dumped her, and she'd lost her job, like kind of pretty much the same day. So I said, I'll buy her coffee, and she orders, and I pull a $10 bill out, and I put it in the register. And he comes out, he's like, "Pat, what are you doing? You're not allowed to do this. This is horrible. You can't do this. I should fire you." And I get into his face and I say, "Jamie, I'm going to go have a cigarette break right now, because if I don't, I'm going to fucking put my fist right through your fucking face and turn this fucking coffee shop into a Gallagher show." And I just laughed. One time, this woman walks into the store. And we had a blenders, and we had the smoothie mix where it was just kind of the ice with the pre-made stuff. I don't know if you have
Island
that.
Oasis.
Island Oasis, yeah.
I know what you mean.
So we had the Island Oasis stuff, and we had all the flavors up. And this girl walks in one day and
They're
asks
delicious, by the way.
for a flavorless smoothie.
What? So ice and water?
Yeah.
Flavorless smoothie.
That's ice water, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. In a blender. Mixed with my tears. That is a flavorless smoothie. And I reasoned with her. I'm like, "What's a flavorless smoothie?" And she's like, "Can you give me a smoothie without flavor?" I'm like, "No. What's this riddle?" I'm not good at riddles. I'm getting paid $7 an hour. I'm not, I'm hating life here. And she I say, is it water and ice? And she's like, yeah, that. And I'm like, oh, shoot. So I make this thing and I give it to her, and she's like, how much is a smoothie? I'm like, it's ice water's free. And she's like, and she looks up at the thing and she pulls out a $5 bill and she's just like, keep the change for a tip. And I'm like, and $5 was what I'd make in 45 minutes. So I just go off.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know? And after I go off, I just see her and she's shaking a single Crystal Light packet. One of those single serving Crystal Light packets, and she just goes, you don't get it, do you? And I just was like, yep, I don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. Life, I don't get it. I don't get any of this shit, you know? And I should have just stuck my head in the blender at that point, just for.
Maybe that would have been a flavorless smoothie.
I've had arguments like that with people where they're like, I brought in my own almond milk. Can I have almond milk back here? Can I put my almond milk in it? No, I can't take your almond milk because of health code violations. I just want to use my almond milk. I can't let you do that. Do you have chai syrup? I don't have chai syrup. Can I just put chai syrup in? You can't do that because I don't have chai syrup. But I just want chai syrup in my own. I can't do that because I don't have it, because you can't do that because it's against health code, because you need to go fucking die in a fire. Because I'm going to take your head and bash it into this fucking metal counter right now if you don't get the fuck out of here.
I peed in the floor drain as a party gift.
I had a lady call. I had a lady
could have peed in a smoothie.
Flavorless smoothie.
You could have peed in the thing, and maybe somebody would have paid you for it if you wore a mask.
She wouldn't have need the Crystal Light. So
I believe in Crystal Light because I believe in me.
I had a lady call the pizza place, and she goes, "Hi, what kind of pizza do you guys have?" I was like, "Well, we got small, medium, and large." She goes, "No. What kind do you have?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's flour dough, make it fresh every day." She's like, "No. What kind of pizza?" And this went on for 5 minutes. Like, I listed every topping, I listed everything on the menu, and finally she's just like, "I just don't know what it is. You don't understand. What kind of pizza do you have?" And
do you have Domino's here, or do you have?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I can't help, and I hung
Square
up.
or round? No,
Domino's or Pizza Hut here.
I don't know if you meant like deep dish or something.
No, I said every possible thing. I was like, we have one kind of crust. It is circular. We cut 16 pieces, whatever.
But do you have pizza in pizza at your pizza place?
Pizza on the pizza.
What,
do you serve Cece's pizza at Mario's Pizza?
I used to work for an oncologist, so a lot of people called up had cancer.
What kind of cancer?
No, one woman. My favorite ever.
We have lung. We have skin.
Oh,
You're
God.
not getting it.
My favorite, just the best thing I've ever heard in a phone conversation was this woman who called up, and she wasn't in treatment anymore. She didn't have cancer, but she was still getting some sort of follow-up treatments or whatever. And the doctor was out on a Friday, and she was just like, I woke up this morning, and I realized my eyebrows had fallen off. Can you tell the doctor that my eyebrows fell off, and just let him know that. And then she's talking to me.
Was this a Police Academy movie? Mahoney had played a prank or something?
She was very cavalier. And then at the end of this call, we're having this call and everything. She goes, "Oh yes, and just tell him also my nipples leaking too. So he'll know."
My
phone sex? I kind of like the sound of this.
Sex.
Phone sex.
Over the phone, I want to hear now sex. Over the phone. Sometimes a ladies.
It depends on the mood you're in.
My eyebrows fell off. My nipples leak.
That reminds my friend my friend Caroline is a nurse, and my favorite story I've ever heard her tell is about a lady who called.
So I'm at work, and we get a lot of weird phone calls because when people get discharged after having a baby, I'm like, "Do you have any questions? Just please feel free to call. We're here all night. You can call anytime." So somebody calls, and she's like, "Hello, is this a postpartum nurse?" And I'm, I'm a nurse. And she said, I was calling to see what you think I should do. I have already asked my preacher about this, and he said, he told me to take a hot bath with baking soda in it, and that's not helping. And I was like, ma'am, what's wrong? She's like, "I think I broke a bone." And I said, "Oh, well, if you think you broke a bone, feel free to come into the ER. Well, it's my pussy bone." And I'm like, "Ma'am?" And she's like, "My private bone. It's closing up. I'm telling you, it's closing up." I can barely get a Vaseline finger up in there, and sex is not helping. So at this point, I start repeating everything she says so all the nurses around me know that I'm not lying when I hang up the phone. So I'm like, ma'am, let me get this straight. You've already talked to your teacher. You took the hot bath with the baking soda. Vaseline fingers can barely get up in there. Sex is not helping, and it is closing up. And I'm like, ma'am, I'm having trouble visualizing what you're describing. I recommend you come into the ER. And she's all like, oh, no, girl, I know you busy. How many babies you got tonight? And I'm like, man, let's get back to this pussy bone. So then she says, well, you know how it's supposed to look like a horseshoe? No, ma'am, I do not. Well, it's closing up. And eventually I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you. Please just come into the ER anytime if you feel like you've broken a bone. She calls back, and after I hung up, I had so many questions. I was like, oh, my God, when did she have a baby? Who is her doctor? Like, I wanted so many questions. And so she called back a week later, and my friend answered. And she's like, ma'am, I'm sorry, what is your question? And I'm in the background, is it the pussy bone? Is it the pussy bone? Is it the pussy bone? And she's like, and I'm like, ask her when she had a baby. She had a baby in 2003. And she's calling the, like, labor and delivery, asking about this. And she's... But now, the second phone call, a week later, the bone had formed its own little sac. She said it was a separate entity. So I guess it did close up. That's pretty much it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Caroline Gibson. Jesus!
I had another job that I almost had that I worked at for one day. One day, and this was a good quitting one. It was selling Kirby vacuum cleaners.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Door-to-door vacuum cleaners.
Video game man would just suck things in.
Oh, I got one.
No. These are literal vacuum cleaners that can do anything. No. I open up. No, you have not lived until you've seen 3 middle-aged men trying to show you everything this vacuum can do.
I'm an orc, man.
Yeah. So anyway, there was I opened up the newspaper. I was home from college, and I was looking at the classified ads, and it just said sales job, make X amount of money an hour, come to this place. And I call, and they're like, yeah, come tomorrow. So I show up in a suit. Because that's what you do for a job interview, right? You dress up. I show up, and it's me and this guy in, like, white T-shirts and jorts. Like, he, like, dressed like John Cena or something like that. And I'm like, oh, I'm getting this job. But it was in this, like just this office that was basically empty. It was like this empty office with, like, 2 chairs in there, and there was just nothing. And a boombox that was playing on a loop, Ain't No Stopping Us Now, and For the Love of Money by the OJs, over and over again. It was almost like this thing where they were trying to, like, subliminal messages sort of thing.
Breaking you down.
Breaking you down. You know, like you're Noriega or something like that. And out comes out 3 guys. There was Tommy, Rick, and Rusty.
Perfect names.
Rick looked like Steve Perry if you beat him with a shovel. And Rusty looked like Bill Parcells if you beat him with a shovel. And they just went on for 8 hours. And, like, for the first 3 hours, they don't tell you what it is that you're selling.
Yeah.
Like, this is a sales job. You got to be motivated. You got to Around hour 4, they let us know what it was. And what is going to make money for you and have you succeed in life and have you construct a career is... And then Rick comes out with a vacuum cleaner, and I'm just like, I wore a fucking suit for this. I'm the heel here. And they show us all the stuff to do with the vacuum cleaner. Around hour 7, Rusty just goes, you guys don't look motivated. Did you see that Chevy Avalanche out in front of the building? That black Chevy Avalanche? That's Kirby Vacuum Cleaners right there. Kirby Vacuum Cleaners made that happen for me. And I just like stood up and I'm like, congratulations, Rusty. And I just fucking laughed.
What you got, Adam?
Oh, there was the casino job. We got 18 days paid vacation at the valet, which is actually pretty nice.
That's great.
That's nice. I was like, I'll take off. So I went home to New Jersey for Christmas and New Year's, and I had like approved vacation. Like, oh yeah, you're good to go for this many weekends. You come back. I get a call New Year's morning at 8 a.m. I'm super hungover. I get a call, and it's one of the managers. He's like, hey, are you coming in today? I'm like, no, I'm in New Jersey, and we're snowed in. I had approved my vacation with Jared, who was the manager. Of course, his name was Jared. And he goes, oh, well, yeah, Jared put you on the schedule, though, so you're going to have to come in. I'm like, well, that's not happening. I go back. I ended up getting another job, but my dad's like, you know what, you should go put in a letter of resignation, just to be professional. Go put one in. Ride my bike over. Walk in. There's a guy, Ralph, who, God bless him, he had no idea what he's doing. He's sitting there and goes, what are you doing here? I was like, oh, I'm scheduled work day. He goes, I don't think so. Looks at me and goes, no, they fired you. And I go, all right, tell Jared to go fuck himself. Should I give you this letter? He goes, I don't think it really matters. So I rode my bike home, and I met Darryl Dalton, who was the catcher for the Phillies. Darren Dalton? He was...
Was he trying to convince you on the Rapture and stuff like that to join you in his underground bunker in Florida?
Can travel through space and time.
Yeah.
He talked to squirrels.
It's a magical mullet.
Yeah. He was outside. He was doing a speech at like, I think Drexel or something, and he had a driver, and the driver was picking him up at this one car like wash place, this really expensive car wash place. He was drinking a rum and coke at probably 9 a.m.
Fuck yeah.
And I had a Phillies cap on. He's like, how you doing? Like that hat? And I was like, oh, nice to meet you. And then I rode off.
Imagine how early Lenny Dykstra drinks.
Oh,
man.
God. Never stops.
He's on an IV drip.
I worked at Chick-fil-A briefly in 2005, and basically I was 19. Everybody I worked with was still in high school, it seemed like. They were all like 16. And basically this girl comes in, and this was in Opelika, which is the town next to Auburn. And
Opelika or Opelika?
Opelika.
Okay.
Yeah, Opelika's in Florida.
Yes.
And it's Opelika. It means big swamp in Muskogee. But anyway.
Classy place.
A place that even swears.
Beautiful.
That's right.
Town.
But anyway, the whole thing is like, Auburn people are, myself included, very snooty about Opelika. We're like, oh, the Opelika people are less. They are the other.
Yeah, that's Opelika. This is Auburn, motherfucker.
Right. So I was working in Opelika, and all the kids went to Opelika High School, so they were all dumb. And but anyway, this girl comes in. She was supposed to be there at like 5:00. She gets there at 4:00 by accident. Someone dropped her off, and she's like, well, what am I supposed to do for an hour? And I was like, well, we were across the street from a Books A Million. You can go read a magazine or something. She goes, I hate books. And to which I said, way to enforce the Opelika stereotype. To which she said, what's a stereotype? So that's where I was working. I had to convince somebody there was no such thing as the devil. That was.
No, Satan is real. Working with power, you can see him and hear him in this world every day.
Yeah.
And
Satan is real, and hell is a real place, a place of never-ending punishment.
Do you hand out those pamphlets on the corner? Those little
Yeah, Jack
booklets?
Chick. I draw them, actually. Have you ever seen Boo, the anti-Halloween one? I did that.
No.
I did the anti-Dungeons and Dragons one, and of course my favorite, and I sort of put this, Big Daddy, the anti-evolution one. That was all me.
With the gorilla?
Did you do Everybody Is Pierced?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Somebody used to leave those in the bathroom of the pizza place I used to work at, and I was like, "Where?"
I used to find them in phone, the payphones, and they had the payphones.
Yeah.
All around like Richmond. I used to find
Yeah,
them.
people
And me and
just-
my brother started collecting them because we thought they were so damn funny.
Oh yeah, the chick
Big
tracks.
Daddy is the
They're
best
amazing.
one. I actually was Tom of Finland influenced when I drew that one. So they were very subtle. if you
I
like.
want to know what happened where you had to convince someone the devil was not real.
Oh well, no, it was. I don't know. It was. We were filleting the chicken. It's the best job, because you don't have to be the fried machine. You just get to work at your own pace, cut up.
So it's real chicken.
Oh, it's real chicken, yeah. And we're back there. We're filleting the chicken, and the guy's just like, I don't know, somebody been murdered or something, and he's just like, well, the devil got a hold of him. I'm like,
no, the police are looking for a guy in a blue Chevy.
Amber alert! There's a chariot of fire running down. Running down corridor X.
Goat legs.
That was the same job where I worked with. Basically, I worked with 5 people named Justin. So
like Duran Duran or something.
There were 5 Justins. I'm not exaggerating. 5 Justins, so we had to give them all like nicknames based on their middle names. So there was one guy whose, middle name was like Woodrow, so he was Woody or something.
What?
And hey man. And
Woodrow.
Yeah, we had a Woodrow.
Opelika again.
Yeah, Opelika. And but then there was one kid whose middle name was Henry, so he became Hank. And Hank was gay, almost certainly, but I don't know if Hank was
the devil got Hank.
Totally right. That exactly. But the thing is, I think his dad at some point was like, "Oh no, my boy," and started teaching him everything there was to know about muscle cars. And there is nothing like listening to an effeminate Southern dude talk about muscle cars. It's the funniest fucking thing. Because he'd just be like, "Oh, I'm telling you, as soon as I get that cooling system on my Hemi, there ain't no stopping me. You understand me? I'm gonna tear up the goddamn road. That's just all there is to it."
Rooster tail.
Yeah, it was like listening to Tennessee Williams host a show on the Speed Channel. It was amazing.
Girl, you're gonna be stuck in my tailpipe, and I mean that quite literally.
I knew him was going to come up.
Charger, not on my watch.
Not on my watch. I'm a Chevy man. You can go take your Ford and go fuck yourself.
Found on road dead.
Fix or repair daily.
when I quit that job, I told it was like one of those moments where I'm just sitting there on the fry later. I'd burn my hand on the chicken nuggets for like the 1,000th time, and I'm just like.
That was the devil to us.
It's like, you know what? Third Justin, you're right. The devil's real.
Yeah, I've been telling him, look, I got stigmata.
So I went to my
chickmata.
Got chickmata, exactly. I went to my boss.
Dip it in the barbecue. That'll help. Cool it down. Cool it down in the ranch.
Sauce.
Cool it down in the ranch.
It cools it off because they make it with petroleum jelly.
That's right. So I go to my boss and I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna be leaving in 2 weeks." And he goes, "Oh, where are you going?" I was like, "Oh, nowhere. I'm just not going to be here anymore." He's like, "All right, then I'll take off the schedule."
I'm going to New York.
Yeah, exactly. So I was sitting there, and I told him I was quitting in 2 weeks.
A bunch of tutti fruities there.
Everybody's talking at Rivers. Can't hear a word he's saying.
And so I'm standing there, and I just told him that I was going to quit in 2 weeks. And then I was like, you know what, no. And I just walked out. Never came back.
I ain't a real cowboy, but I am one hell of a stud.
Tell us about Nerdfight, guys.
Basically, the show, it's comedians, like some of the amazing people we have here. Rivers, you've done it. Pat, you've done it. Goodnight, you've done it.
I've done it lots of times.
You've done lots of times.
Nerdfight.
Matt McCarthy we've had.
We've had Matt McCarthy. We've had Baron Vaughn.
Dude, Baron Vaughn's was amazing.
That was incredible. We've had Glennis McCarthy, Matt McCarthy's Paramore, and also hilarious.
Ahmed Barucha?
Ahmed Barucha was awesome.
I'm a big fan of the human sexplosion, Frank Fantasia.
Frank Fantasia
I think he's the best guy.
Good.
George Coffey.
I really like the tie-dye shirt that he had.
But we basically, it's comics, amazing comics, performing characters that they've come up with, original characters that you may have seen in another place, but probably have never seen before. And we're competing in trivia, and it's categories that we come up with and we find interesting. Things like racist rock stars, athlete arrests.
I was saying the other night,
Disney Channel original movies.
If the categories are
Xenon, Girl from the Future.
Girl
I would have
21st century.
slammed her against the wall. Kirsten Storms, if you're listening, I know you're going to get married or some shit like that. You can end that, okay? You've seen Purple Rain, never get married. Mr. Goodnight, he live in town. You wear that little outfit you wore in Xenon 2, and honey, I'll take you to outer space.
Xenon the
way
sequel?
better. Yeah, in the Xenon, because that's when she
Xenon
looked
the
the best.
sequel.
That's I'll take you to outer space way more than, what was this fucking name of that movie?
Protozoa is the
Protozoa. Yeah, fuck Protozoa. You got good night here. You don't need no protozoa, you understand? And bring your friend Margie, too, because I think we can come up with something together, all of us. You understand?
Yeah.
Take it into the stratosphere.
We talk about things like
I
that.
live on Sepulveda.
Thank you, Pat. I do. So call me. Call me. Or get in touch with me through Rivers. No, Rivers will steal them from himself. You can have Margie, Rivers.
Oh, great. Yep. So we do, questions like Disney Channel original movies. We do things related to sports, history, whatever I want.
And the racist rock star
and I
category.
answer them all right.
The racist rock star category. When in doubt, default to Eric Clapton.
Yes, all of the answers, they were all British rock stars.
Yeah.
They were all a bunch of fucking
Real
bigots.
racist
To get
people.
away with being
Or
racist.
Morrissey.
Yeah, it's usually Morrissey.
Although-
It's always the effeminate ones.
Athlete arrests, it's usually the Bengals or the Vikings. It's going to be one of them. Midwest.
No
football
Raiders?
teams.
Not
No,
really a lot of Raiders
they don't get
players.
caught. Raiders
Or
don't
Duke
get caught.
University. Duke University.
There's a lot of places to bury bodies in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Yep.
You understand?
Yep.
Also, Pat sacrificed his body the most I've ever seen someone
Yes.
sacrifice their
Pretty
body
incredible.
at a comedy
the last
show.
one we did a Doritos blind taste test. It was very challenging. It was very, very challenging. It was hard.
I could do that.
Whitmer
Take a
Thomas
chair
was
shot.
very upset.
Yeah, Pat can take the bumps. There's no doubt about that.
Take the
he
bumps
can
and the
sell,
lumps.
too.
Take the bumps and the lumps. And then, the characters, the winning team.
Perfect.
Winning
Exactly.
team, they'll
Sound like
do
Steamboat.
sets at the end. So it's very hilarious. It's everything you want. It's original. It's fun. It's thrilling. It's violent. It's beautiful. It's
This
Fuck
is
yeah.
the real deal, Jack.
And I'm guessing when the show comes back, people can find out about it on Twitter.
Yeah,
What-
Twitter, Facebook. We have a Facebook page. You can like Nerdfight. And you can see clips from the show online if you want to go on YouTube. I have uploaded a lot of things from the show that are hilarious clips. We have some, so we're getting more.
Where can people find you on Twitter, Laura?
Crawford Comic is my Twitter handle.
And Adam?
At Adam ATOM_Murray.
Fuck yeah.
Ab and
Like
Adam.
atoms.
Ab and Adam.
Well, thank you for joining us, and keep working for the weekend.
Thank you, guys.
The Goods from the Woods is mixed and edited by me, Rivers Langley, and distributed by Westcast Network. Our theme song is composed by DJ Smiles. You can find him online at djsmiles.net.